So, welcome everyone. I'm Philipp Terhörst from Responsible AI for Biometrics, and I'm holding this bachelor course in the summer semester called Introduction to Human-Centered Machine Learning. So here, the goal is first to start with the traditional machine learning algorithms to teach you them. So we start with supervised learning with regression and classification. So for regression, we want our model to learn a continuous output, while for classification, we have specific classes. For example, we give the model an image of an animal and it should classify if it's a cat or dog. And we'll talk about how to evaluate these algorithms, choose the most suitable one for our problem. Then we move on to unsupervised learning, where we, for example, talk about clustering. So given some kind of unlabeled data, we want to find different groups within the data to understand its structure. We will also talk about dimensionality reduction. So if we have very high dimensional data, how we can reduce its dimensionality to understand it better. And for example, we'll talk about anomaly detection. So if we have our data, how to find data points that don't really belong to this kind of data. Then we also move on to deep learning and talk about how neural networks work, how we can adapt these networks to deal with images, so with input data that is of very high dimensionality. And we talk about why these very large neural networks work so well despite they contradicting the classical machine learning principles here. And lastly, from this part, we also talk about how we can generate new samples, in this case new images that look highly realistic, and this allows us to manipulate the semantics of the images directly. So for the learning outcomes, we will learn how to implement, train and evaluate various machine learning models, and also how to make these models privacy preserving, fair, reliable and explainable. So these will be the human-centered aspects of this course here. Also, we have to keep in mind that this is an introductory course, so we will focus on understanding and intuition. And the goal here is to give you a broad overview about this field, which is actually very big, but I still try to give you some kind of overview. However, there will be some math equations involved. We will derive specific things, but the overall focus will be on understanding and intuition. How's the lecture organized? So the lecture itself, it's 2 hours. We will always start with interactive quiz questions at the beginning that you can interactively participate via Pingo. Then we will have a 3-hour exercise where we have theoretical tasks that are completed during the exercise there, that we will also talk about in detail. And beside that, we have a small research project, which is a study achievement that needs to be fulfilled in order to write the exam, which is just develop a very simple and basic solution for a problem in Python. So basically you have an unbalanced classifier and your goal is to make it more balanced and present the solution at the end. So I'm looking forward to see you at the lecture.